Mina, how are you? We're going to talk book 4 today. Let's go.
I thought we were going to talk about book.
We talked about book 3. You asked book 5. Oh, book 5. Book 4
Yeah,
is what you're asking now. Okay. So we're going to talk book 17 today. But go ahead with book 5. Tell us about it.
because I talked about book 4 last week
Yeah.
and asking people to tell me how far they thought I could go with Helen being captured and tortured. Okay, so book 5 is about Frank Stewart. And Frank Stewart is one of the, uh, he, he owns his own investigation company, and they don't call it that. They call it something else. I can't remember, but I
Fred
haven't.
Flintstone? No, no.
But he also
An
is,
investigation company in the 1700s?
yes, yes.
Okay.
He had worked for the Bow Street Runners. He had worked for them, and he had all these um, peers, these aristocrats coming to him and asking him to check on his wife because he thinks she's running. Same thing today. Most of those PI things are domestic, but he also does work for the realm, so he's done investigations for them. Well, he a woman comes to see him, and she tells him that her sister has disappeared, and he's like, oh, okay, well, she's pretty, so I'll see what I can do. And it ends up being just a whole series of these terrible, it's almost like a torn curtain kind of thing with written by Alfred Hitchcock, that movie with Paul Newman and
Yeah.
Julie Andrews. Well, it kind of ends up like that. They get us there, they're stuck together, or he's working with her trying to find her sister, and then this whole other chain of events happens. And so he is not um, a horseman. He's not a horseman, but he's in the Horseman series. They kind of adopt him in the very first book with Martin and Muriel, but it gets solved, and it's happily ever after, as it always is. And then I have another one, and this is book 6, and he is a duke, and he recognizes this woman that's working for John in the book that's going to be coming out at Christmas time. He recognizes her, but she doesn't want him to know. So he finally says, I know who you are, what's going on. And her husband has been really abusive. And so she just wants to get away from him. So she starts this whole new life. Um, and um, and Robert catches her.
Oh boy.
So yeah.
So Robert catching her. So is he catches her in the relationship or catches her in a
he recognizes her, and he corners her, and he says, hey, I know who you are, because she's got a Scottish accent. She's working as a servant, and she's really not a servant, but she knows the Scottish lingo. So she passes herself off, and she's reddish auburn hair and green eyes. So she fits the bill, but he recognizes her, and then she breaks down and tells him he beat me. He locked me in a room. I couldn't talk to anybody. And so she gets away and goes out to the countryside and and gets his job. But Robert has an estate there, and so he hadn't been in town. He didn't really hear about this wife disappearing, but he recognizes her, and then he tries to help her, and this whole other deal happens. And her husband, let's just say, it doesn't end well for him.
is there any book 6? Is there a book 6?
That's book 6.
But I thought we were talking book 5.
book 5 was Frank Stewart. He's the investigator. With
And
the
then book 6, is there anything after book 6?
um, I do have 4 other books written. They're about the children of the 4 horsemen.
Hmm.
It's a different they're already written.
You already wrote them?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what are you writing after that?
Uh, well, I'll have to start a whole new family, I guess. Um, I have some ideas, but I always have ideas floating around in my head. If I wrote about the things that I'd seen and done, I'd have an infinitesimal amount of stories.
All right. Best place to go is minavalentine.com. Appreciate it, Mina.
Yeah,
We'll talk soon.
please do. Please
All
do.
right.
Valentine's.
All right. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.